You're listening to the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network, home of the #1 sports talk show on the planet, The Doug Stewart Show.
This is a revolution in radio, the realest, trillest sports talk show in America, The Doug Stewart Show.
Broadcasting live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Time, exclusively on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network.
This is sports talk for the people.
Follow Stewart Media and Entertainment right now on Facebook to stay connected and locked in for upcoming events like the Couples and Cocktail Series, viewing parties, and much, much more. Up next, get ready to ride raw with the Doug Stewart Show.
This is sports talk with hot sauce, Texas Pete hot sauce, the Doug Stewart Show.
Exclusively on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network.
Yes! Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com, America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STEW to play for free. That's STEW for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STEW, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STEW.
At Ticket Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets, with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised.
Do you want that real sports talk? Unfiltered, unsanitized? Well, you have found it. This is a revolution in radio. The realest, trillest sports talk show in America. The Doug Stewart Show. This is sports talk for the people. Yeah! What's happening? Yeah, thank you for joining your boy on the Doug Stewart Show. This is a fantastic football Friday, but we gotta bring it back. Woo! Not so good if you Cleveland, though. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Fantastic Football Friday. Shouts out to everybody listening to the show already in the chat room doing their thing. What up to all of my Stewies? I nub new. Studio audience is on point. Ready to go June 5th, 2015. This is the Doug Stewart Show, man. Thank you so much for joining your boy early on this show. Once again, Friday, June 5th, 2015. I call it a fantastic football Friday because we always talk football around here. Even though we're already in the NBA Finals. Yes. Shouts out to everybody in the chat room already. Once again, this is the most interactive show in the world, the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you for joining me. 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Monday through Friday, Eastern Time. So if you're new, welcome aboard. We appreciate it. And just buckle up, man, because we have a great time around here. Obviously, we talk about sports. We talk whatever people in America are talking about. That's what we do on the Doug Stewart Show. We have a great time doing it. We do birthdays. I read a lot of your chat messages. Speaking of which, if you'd like to be totally interactive, follow the show on Spreaker.com. All you got to do is follow the show, the Doug Stewart Show on Spreaker.com, and then there's a little chat bubble at the bottom. Click on that chat bubble, and then you're open up to a whole new world of the Stewies. That's what I call listeners that are in the chat room. And so post your opinions, your thoughts on whatever we're talking about. And I read chat throughout the show. And, you're kind of like my co-host. You're kind of like my wingman in that fact. And so thank you so much for joining me. Shouts out to everybody already in there. Shouts out to Mocha Bella, Texas Ty, Rel Scott, That Ninja, Jungle Brother, Vern from Jersey, Vince Wright. Shouts out to y'all. Thank you very much for joining me. All right, today is Friday. Today is Friday, man. Today is Friday. And so we make a special effort to promote the show and to put out there that if you'd like to donate to the Doug Stewart Show, man, there's no better time to do it but on a Friday after you just got paid. So if you'd like to donate to the Doug Stewart Show, if you have a lot of fun listening to this show 5 days a week, just tip your waiter. All right. If you go into a restaurant, I say this all the time, I got to keep reminding you, just consider me your radio waiter. If I give you good service, tip your boy 15 or 20 or 30 or 40%. All right. Go to thedougstewartshow.com and click on the little donate button. And if you donate $20 or more, and it's very easy and it's very secure, it's through PayPal. You basically going to click on the donate button and you're going to hit the button or your computer like 2 more times, your mouse or whatever. If you donate $20 or more, we'll send you your own first run official The Doug Stewart Show t-shirt. You can't beat that with a stick. So we not like Creflo Dollar. We actually going to give you something for your money and for your donation. We actually make a couple of dollars out of it, not a lot, but it helps to facilitate what we got going on around here, this big production we know as the Doug Stewart Show, all right? And it is a big production. We have a staff. We have engineering. We have logistics. We got all types of things. We got a bunch of people on the payroll trying to make this thing happen in a big, big way, and we have been doing that with your help. We can continue to make it even bigger and better. That's right. You are listening to The Doug Stewart Show. So go to thedougstewartshow.com, click on the little donate button, and help your folk out, help your show out. This is your show, all right? This is your show. Let's make it bigger and better, baby. Thank you yesterday. Thank you yesterday for retweeting the tweet that I tweeted earlier in the show. It's a little promotion tactic that I had up there, and I actually went on a hunger strike. And I'm happy to tell you and to report, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, I'm happy to report that about 2:30, I was able to eat my sandwich. Yeah, I went on a hunger strike. I needed at least 50 people to retweet yesterday's tweet, and it took till about 2:30, which is very disappointing when you really think of it, seeing as I have over 11,000 followers. But that's how Twitter works. I mean, it is what it is. You might have 11,000 followers, but you may not have 11,000 people paying particular attention to your tweet account or whatever. But thank you very much for retweeting that yesterday. I've actually left that up in lieu of putting up my daily tweet where I give you a fortune and lucky numbers and stuff like that. So I actually left it up. So go ahead and retweet it again. If you haven't retweeted it, in the first place, go ahead and do that. Help to promote the show. I really would appreciate it. All right, so a lot of things to get into, man, on this fantastic Football Friday. Obviously, we're going to talk NBA Finals. What I hate about the media. Ugh. A glaring example of why you need the Doug Stewart Show came to light yesterday in a story. I'm going to break that down for you. The NBA commissioner speaks on Hack-a-Shaq. Aaron Hernandez, latest. Jim Brown says he didn't agree to Ish. I'll tell you more about that later. Once again, we do birthdays. And, oh, yeah, today is Friday, man. The Boyle Peanuts Award Yes, sir. The Boyle Peanuts Award will be given out today. Let me tell you who your nominees are. Your nominees are ESPN for awarding Bruce Jenner / Caitlyn Jenner the Arthur Ashe Courage Award. A lot of people got a problem with that. So he's been nominated for a Boyle Peanuts Award. Sure he might like it, though. So Caitlyn Jenner's nominated. Creflo Dollar is nominated because his church says that they are going to, in fact, get him this $60 million plane for him to ride around the world and spread the gospel in luxury. So I guess technically we should give it to the congregation, but I'm going to give it, and he's going to be nominated, Creflo Dollar, because he's going to accept it. So Creflo Dollar's been nominated. Sluggo, that's right, listener to the Doug Stewart Show, has been nominated. Sluggo had the nerve to call up here. Well, he didn't call. He posted a message trying to find out what was going on with the inner workings of the Doug Stewart Show and how we do business and who's over this. And he was asking too many damn questions. So we nominated his ass. He wanted to know who was in charge of distributing and getting the T-shirts out. Yeah, that's none of your business, man. Don't worry. You just listen to the show and have a good time. So Sluggo's been nominated. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about grown people business. So Sluggo's been nominated. And then also, man, disappointingly, if that's even a word, Tree Taylor has been nominated. Tree is my producer to the Doug Stewart Show. And seemingly she's been nominated for 5-6 weeks in a row. And somehow she just eludes it. It doesn't look good for Tree this week, though. I'm going to say that right now. It doesn't look good for her. I know studio audiences, they've been chomping at the bit for Tree to win the Boyle Peanuts Award, and it looks like it might happen this week. Yeah. So we only got 4 contestants. Usually we have 5, 6, 7, 8 different contestants, nominees. And so this week we only got 4. And it's not a stiff competition for Tree as it has been in the past. Tree isn't here today, so that's very ironic. And she might win her first official Boyle Peanuts Award, and she's not here today. But we'll see. So we'll announce that a little bit later in today's show. And damn, this is going to hurt. I mean, if Tree wins it, it's going to hurt me more than it hurts her. It is. It is. All right, I had to tell you a lot of stuff in the first segment, man, so I didn't even get a chance to touch upon the NBA Finals last night, man. I'm starting to believe, and this is really a big statement from a guy that grew up during the era of the Flintstones. I'm starting to believe that the Cleveland sports teams are cursed. Yeah. So we'll talk about what happened in Game 1 last night of the NBA Finals. Don't go away. This is the Doug Stewart Show. In life, things happen, good and bad. And being prepared is always important. If you're like me, a husband, a father, and protector of that family tree, then your family is the most important thing in the world. 95 million U.S. adults don't have protection in place. So, what I've done is put my protection in the hands of the largest and #1 independent financial services company in North America, and that's Primerica. They look out for middle America because they believe that offering the most competitive premiums only benefits the client and have been doing so since 1977. If you're a parent, husband, or wife and want to discuss options with one of Primerica's top reps, then call my guy, Greg Wynn, at 678-439-7172. Again, that's 678-439-7172, and he'll put your family first. And hey, tell him that Doug Stewart sent you. Yes! I don't like Johnny Gill. He took my spot on New Edition. One of my favorite songs of all time from New Edition is Can You Stand the Rain? So to pay ode to that famous song, man, I'm going to give you my little rendition of Can You Stand the Rain? On a perfect day, I know that I can count on you. Ooh, when that's not possible, Tell me, can you weather the storm? Home. Then Ralph jumps in. 'Cause I need somebody who will stand. Shut up! Who will stand by me through the good times and bad times. She will always be right there. Hey, sunny days. Everybody has them. Tell me, baby, can you stand the rain? J-Rob, Tree, if you stop Doug singing, we will renege your BPA nomination. Huh? Buster, Doug, I see why you got kicked out of the Wait a minute. Back up, Jack. Shut up. Studio audience, y'all are out of control today. I mean, seriously, we're going to talk about this. We're going to have to take y'all into Larry's office after this show. That ninja, you just cracked my damn phone screen. What? Where's all of this coming from? Who's putting y'all up to say these things? Who's putting y'all... Okay, Tree, jump on for a second. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Did you prompt these people to say these nasty things to me on Spreaker.com?
You know what?
I mean, it's jealousy. Tree, we know that you sing. But you don't have to be the only person that can sing. Okay? I can see it. What do the kids call it? Hating? Is that what's going on here, Tree? Are you hating on Doug Stewart? Dirty Della.
Oh, my God.
Dirty Della. Oh. Dirty Della. Oh. First of all, thank you for listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Now, if you've been listening for a while, you know that we've grown exponentially over the first couple of months. Whether that's listens, whether that's followers, we're blowing up, and you can be a part of it. If you have a company out there and you like to promote on the Doug Stewart Show, we'd love to partner with you. Here's what you do. Email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Once again, that's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Whether that's locally, regionally, or nationally, we can get the word out. What you're talking about is middle-aged dudes that love sports and love exciting sports talk. Once again, email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com, and we will put you out there. All right? That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let's do some business. Yes! Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. This is a fantastic football Friday. Thanks for joining your boy. We're going to do birthdays here in a second, but we got to talk about the NBA Finals last night. The number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. But the easy way to be totally interactive is the chat. All right, and that's by following the show on Spreaker.com, hitting the little chat button, and then you're totally interactive with your boy. Thank you so much for joining me. From what I'm understanding, there may have been some type of sound issue in the last segment. We're checking on that right now, but thank you for joining me, man. Obviously, last night, the NBA Finals get started, and the Golden State Warriors, man, they win 108-100. After being down by, I think they were down by as much as 14 points in the first quarter. And they've started off a lot of these games really slow, but then they just have so much offense and they have such clutch shooting that they just easily just creep back into these games. And thus, what happened last night, LeBron James goes for 44 points, 8 boards, 6 assists, but it's not enough. And after what happened to Kyrie Irving, and I'm sure you know what happened to Kyrie, he actually went down with an injury late in that game on yesterday. I'm starting to think that the Cleveland Cavaliers in the city of Cleveland in general, the sports teams in the city of Cleveland, they might be cursed. I mean, they might be. All right, let's look at this. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. And once again, the number is 404-382-0338. That's the number to the show. Cleveland Cavaliers have never won an NBA championship. They haven't won a game, as a matter of fact. I'll talk about that in a second. In the NBA Finals, you know, they went a couple of years ago when LeBron was there for the first go-round. And they got swept in that series. All right, so now You look at what happened to Kevin Love, and you look what happened to Kyrie Irving, and you go back to the Cleveland Browns and the drive and the fumble by Ernest Biner, and the Cleveland Indians played in the 95 World Series against the Braves. That was the only time the Braves ever won a World Series. And this curse by Chief Wahoo of the Cleveland Indians, they might be cursed. And listen, I actually picked the Golden State Warriors to win the finals this year. And if you listen to the show, you know that. I actually picked them yesterday. I kind of amended my pick, and I changed it from 6 games to 7. But yesterday I changed it to 7 once again. But I want Cleveland to win because I think it would be a great story. I think that it would be fantastic for the city of Cleveland that struggled so many years with his sports teams and LeBron James to come back home to Cleveland after all of the crap that went down with him going to Miami and playing with Dwayne Wade. I thought it would be, I think it would be a great thing. And now listen, this is just one game. And I don't want to make it seem like it's a wrap, it's done, Cleveland can't win this series. But it doesn't look good right now. And for you not to have your next 2 top players on that team in such a fashion, they might be schlep rocks, man. It's incredible. So they jump out last night on Golden State, and you knew good and well that wasn't going to hold up, and sure enough, it didn't. Came down to an overtime, and they go into overtime, and they lose. As a matter of fact, they don't score but 2 points at the very end by LeBron James in the overtime period. So the Golden State Warriors go on, win the game 1 in the series. And now what is Cleveland going to do? And you can kind of tell last night the idea and the thought of Steve Kerr was just to send a lot of different guys, waves at LeBron James. Andre Iguodala played fantastic last night, even though LeBron James had 44 points. Iguodala came in, and people forget about AI. You remember AI he was the new AI in Philadelphia. Okay, Andre Iguodala used to be the main guy and the focal guy in Philadelphia for many, many years after they made the deal for Allen Iverson, trading him away to the Denver Nuggets. So Andre Iguodala is a very good player. He's older right now, coming off the bench, and they just got a lot of length that they can throw at LeBron James and make things difficult, really locking down everybody else and what they did last night. And basically it says LeBron James is going to have to beat us. Now, it almost worked, and I know I'm kind of talking doom and gloom for the Cleveland Cavaliers, but it's not really that. It's not really that. They went to overtime. They had an opportunity with the last-second shot by LeBron James to win the thing. I don't know how they didn't get a better shot than what they attempted. But, I mean, they were in the game. But I just think psychologically right now it's going to be real tough on Cleveland. And I heard Stephen A. Smith on the Puppet Factory saying how he had never seen LeBron James this dejected in his life. You got to imagine, the dude gave it all up last night. He laid it all out in the court last night. Once again, 44 points, and it still wasn't enough. A big lead in the first quarter, and it still wasn't enough. So I even feel more confident that Golden State's going to win this series. Might not even make it to 7. We'll see what happens. They just have too much offense, too much talent. Klay Thompson had a great game last night as well in the win. He scored 21 points. Andrew Bogut, 4 points. You know he doesn't really do anything. And Steph Curry goes for 26 points. Just butter. 10 for 20 shooting, 50% from the field, and had a great night shooting as well. So the Golden State Warriors win last night, game 1. What are your thoughts? Do you think it's a wrap? Do you think it's too early to call, the series a wrap? I think it definitely is. I want to hear some people, because I'm kind of hearing a lot of grumblings that this thing is probably a wrap, especially when you factor in what happened to Kyrie Irving last night. A lot of controversy as far as his minutes. Played 43 minutes last night after resting that knee and that ankle over the 9 days that they had off between the series, the last series against the Atlanta Hawks and this series. And it wasn't enough. The knee kind of gives way last night a little bit. He kind of, falls, slides kind of awkwardly. And so he's going to have that MRI today, and we'll see what happens. Doesn't look good, man. When you have injuries like that, non-contact injuries, it's not a good sign. It's as simple as that. It's definitely not a good sign. The Cleveland Cavaliers are still seeking its first victory in the NBA Finals in franchise history. Did you realize that? The Cavs were swept by San Antonio in their only previous appearance in 2007. The Cavs has been 7-0 this postseason when LeBron James scores at least 30 points. So that's an interesting stat. And the Golden State is 47-3 at home this season, including 8-1 in the playoffs. Steph Curry has hit multiple threes in 21 straight playoff games, tying Ray Allen's NBA playoff record last night. So you know he's going to destroy that record. And the Game 1 winner, ooh, I hate when I read these type of stats. If you're a Cleveland fan, close your ears for just a second. The Game 1 winner of the NBA Finals has a 48-20 series record. LeBron James's teams are 18-2 in the playoff series when winning the opener and 7-5 when losing Game 1. Steph Curry's Warriors are 3-1 in playoff series when winning the opening game and 1-1 when losing Game 1. So there you have it, man. It's going to be an uphill climb for the Cleveland Cavaliers, or do you think not? Do you think that they actually should have won that game last night, and they're going to have an opportunity to win this series? 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. When we get back from the break, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly do the birthdays. We have a great birthday, a great artist, a singer that has a birthday today. And what? Shut up! Shut up. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. For new listeners, man, my singing talents have really come out over the last couple of weeks. And so, what? Shut up! Shut up! Shut it! My singing talents have really come to light over the last couple of weeks. So every once in a while, man, there's a song, an artist that has a birthday, and after we discuss their birthday, then I give you a rendition, Stu style, of said artist. There's a particular artist, man, who has a birthday today, man, and you all know this guy. And I'm going to really dig deep and try to come up with something, one of his hits for the listeners of the Doug Stewart Show, man. I know, man. You look forward to that. So stay tuned for that. We might do that coming up in the next segment when we talk some birthdays. Don't forget the BPA is a little bit later today. Your nominees, ESPN for giving Caitlyn Jenner the Courage Award at the ESPYs this year. Creflo Dollar for a lot of crazy shenanigans. Sluggo for not minding his business. And Tree Taylor has been nominated once again. I know. Tree's not here today, man, and I think she might win it this week, man. And the listeners are the one who choose it. We're actually going to do a real online poll starting next week. But I kind of get the feel of what the listeners think, the Stewies think, and I go with it. So we'll give out the Boiled Peanuts Award a little bit later. Don't go anywhere. When we get back, man, we're going to read chat, and I'm going to get your thoughts on last night's NBA Finals. Don't go away. This is the Doug Stewart Show. In life, things happen, good and bad, and being prepared is always important. If you're like me, a husband, a father, and protector of that family tree, then your family is the most important thing in the world. 95 million U.S. adults don't have protection in place. So, what I've done is put my protection in the hands of the largest and number one independent financial services company in North America, and that's Primerica. They look out for middle America because they believe that offering the most competitive premiums only benefits the client and have been doing so since 1977. If you're a parent, husband, or wife and want to discuss options with one of Primerica's top reps, then call my guy, Greg Wynn, at 678-439-7172. Again, that's 678-439-7172, and he'll put your family first. And hey, tell him that Doug Stewart sent you. Yes! I don't like Johnny Gill. He took my spot on New Edition. One of my favorite songs of all time from New Edition is Can You Stand the Rain? So to pay ode to that famous song, man, I'm going to give you my little rendition of Can You Stand the Rain? On a perfect day, I know that I can count on you. Ooh, ooh.
When that's not possible, tell me, can you weather the storm? Then Ralph jumps in. 'Cause I need somebody who will stand. Shut up! Shut up! Who will stand by me through the good times and bad times. She will always be right there. Hey, sunny days. Everybody has them. And tell me, baby, can you stand the rain?
J-Rob, Tree, if you stop Doug singing, we will renege your BPA nomination.
Huh?
Buster, Doug, I see why you got kicked out. Dude, wait a minute. Back up, Jack. Shut up. Studio audience, y'all are out of control today. I mean, seriously, we're going to talk about this. We're going to have to take y'all into Larry's office after this show. That ninja, you just cracked my damn phone screen. What? Where's all of this coming from? Who's putting y'all up to say these things? Who's putting y'all... Okay, Tree, jump on for a second. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Did you prompt these people to say these nasty things to me on Spreaker.com?
You know what?
I mean, it's jealousy. Tree, we know that you sing. But you don't have to be the only person that can sing, okay? I can see it. What do the kids call it? Hating? Is that what's going on here, Tree? Are you hating on Doug Stewart?
Dirty Della.
Oh, my God.
Dirty Della. Oh, Dirty Della. Oh.
First of all, thank you for listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Now, if you've been listening for a while, you know that we've grown exponentially over the first couple of months. Whether that's listens, whether that's followers, we're blowing up, and you can be a part of it. If you have a company out there and you like to promote on the Doug Stewart Show, we'd love to partner with you. Here's what you do. Email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Once again, that's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Whether that's locally, regionally, or nationally, we can get the word out. What you're talking about is middle-aged dudes that love sports and love exciting sports talk. Once again, email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com, and we will put you out there. All right? That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let's do some business. Yes! The world's heavyweight champion of sports talk radio. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Fantastic Friday. And talking about the sports, the NBA Finals, getting your thoughts on last night. Is it a wrap for the Cleveland Cavaliers? And I know that's so cliche, sports talk-ish to, after one game, say the series is over. I don't believe that. But I've heard some talk that people think that it is because of all the particulars of the game last night. The fact that you're definitely shorthanded. You already don't have Kevin Love. And now you probably won't have Kyrie Irving. And not even if it's a bad injury, if it's a torn ACL or anything like that. And I hope that's not the case, obviously. But you want to be very careful if you're Cleveland. I mean, Kyrie Irving, I think he has one of those $100 million contracts. I'm pretty sure that he does. He's a young player. You don't want to stick him back out there, even if it's not to the degree of a torn ligament or something like that. Do you want to put him back out there to risk it? Because clearly there's a problem. And I've told the story before, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I've told the story before about how when I tore my ACL in college, the week earlier, I had pulled my hamstring. And so when I got back on the field, it wasn't 100%. But what I found out later is the doctor told me is you probably tore it because of your hamstring. Okay, you were overcompensating with that knee, and the muscles around it were overcompensating, and so it led to your injury. So, yeah, I don't even know, even if he's not hurt per se, where he can't go, where it's a tear or something like that, I mean, do you want to put him back out there? I mean, I know you're in the NBA Finals and you want to win, but this kid has a long career in front of him, man, a long, great career, one of the best players in the game. And David Blatt played this dude 43 minutes yesterday. I don't know about that. And you know, a lot of issues with David Blatt this year because he's a first-year coach in the NBA. Seemingly, he doesn't know what the hell he's doing sometime. LeBron calls plays and ignores his plays. So it's definitely not a good look to see what happened last night. You know, it kind of reminds me, if you think about it, of the same situation that happened with Derrick Rose and Tom Thibodeau, where Derrick Rose actually went back in the game and ended up tearing his ACL and was done for the entire next season, that playoff game, I believe it was. So you got to be careful, man. I mean, Kyrie is not the man on this team anymore, but damn near before LeBron got there, he was the man. You know, Kyrie Irving was being talked about as one of the top, 5, 6, 7, 8 players in the game. And now LeBron's overshadowed him to a large degree, but he still got mad game. You got to be careful with that kid, man. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. You can also email me at Doug@theDougStewartShow.com. In life, things happen good or bad, and being prepared is always important. If you're like me, a husband and a father and protector of this family tree, then your family is the most important thing in the world. 95 million U.S. adults don't have protection in place. So what I've done is I put my protection in the hands of the largest and number one independent financial services company in North America, and that's Primerica. If you're a parent or husband, wife, and want to discuss options with one of Primerica's top reps, then call my guy, Greg Wynn, at 678-439-7172. His name is Greg Wynn, 678-439-7172. I know you've been thinking about it, getting life insurance. If you're part of that 95 million, do yourself a favor, man, and talk to my guy and get yourself insured and your family insured, more importantly. All right? Birthdays today, and I'm going to read chat here in a second. But birthdays today, Marcus Colston, wide receiver for the New Orleans Saints, turns 32 years old today. Happy birthday to him. Bob Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots, turns 74 years old today. Happy birthday to both of them. Even though Bob Kraft playing the nut role, he know good and well they've been cheating. From Mark Wahlberg, a.k.a. Marky Mark, is 44 years old today. Happy birthday to him. What has he been in? Boogie Nights, Planet of the Apes, The Departed. I really love that Departed movie. Happy birthday to him. And Brian McKnight. Yes, sir. Brian McKnight is 46 years old today. Now, you know that I can sing, right? And I mean, Brian McKnight has so many hits, but unfortunately, I'm not really a Brian McKnight fan like that. And so I looked at a couple of his songs that I wanted to give you my rendition of, and some of the songs are, they're really kind of tough to try to reproduce, to be honest with you. So today, man, unfortunately, I'm not going to give you a Brian Knight musical rendition. I know. I know, and trust me, I tried. I looked deep into his catalog of music, man, and I just don't see anything like that. Brian McKnight's one of them cats that, he's really got that mushy, old school style of music. All this stuff is real mushy. Like he's heartbroken all the damn time. He's like, I'm not going to call him Keith Sweat because he kind of doesn't beg like Keith Sweat used to beg, who I love Keith Sweat, by the way. But Brian McKnight, just all of his music, I looked at all of his music, and there's nothing that I could really get down with. So I'm sorry, man. No musical rendition today. I'm sorry. We'll try to get back on track Monday. Hopefully somebody has a birthday Monday that had a good selection of songs that I could delight you with. All right, 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. Let me read some of your chat here from Gridiron Assassin. LBJ looked like he wanted to lead the Cavs again after the game. Yeah, it did kind of remind you of when the last game that he played with Cleveland, when he took his shirt off, and then he made the trek to Miami to play for the Miami Heat. He kind of looked dejected like that, like defeated, like man. Like it's almost like he came to the realization that, even though they played this fantastic game and they had all the opportunity in the world to win, they still lost. That's kind of the look he had on his face last night. From Dollars and Cents, BPA to Coach Blatt for playing Irving for 43 minutes. After the 9 days off with the suspect knee, his ass will be fired at the end of the year. You know what? I thought he would have been fired earlier in the year. They turned things around, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. They turned things around after LeBron had his little Miami hiatus, which that's another story for another day. But they turned things around, won a ton of games in the second half. I thought that he would have been fired before they went to the All-Star break. He survived that. If they it's almost like those situations, and I've talked about this many times before. Like, I don't see Cleveland winning this series. And it kind of reminds you of what happened in Chicago with Doug Collins and them bringing in Phil Jackson, and they went on this run, and they won all these championships, and the rest is history. Because I don't see them winning this series this year, I think you got to get rid of David Blatt. Yeah, I think you got to get rid of David Blatt. This might be an opportunity, and maybe, Mark Jackson and his agent have floated out there to teams that he's not interested in any of these openings that they had this year. Maybe they bring in a Mark Jackson to coach his team next year. I don't know. I think you got to bring in a bigger name. I think you got to bring in a guy that LeBron James respects. From everything I've read, he respects Mark Jackson. I'm just throwing that name out there. I don't know who else is out there that we'd have to sit back and look at. But, yeah, if the Cavs don't win this series, even though a lot of it has to do with the injuries, and it seems like this team just can't get right now on that aspect, I think, David Blatt's probably going to be the fall guy. He's going to be the scapegoat in this whole thing, and probably deservingly so. Because he's just made a lot of blunders, and when you tack on this little situation with Kyrie Irving, once again, if the guy wasn't healthy and you bring him back out there exerting so much energy, playing 43 minutes, that's not a good look. That's just not a good look. For Ronald Cameron, LeBron just needs to stop shooting so many threes, and he has to be more of a facilitator. Yeah, it was talked about how he only had, I believe, 8 assists last night. I go back and look at that number. He actually had 6 assists last night. Yeah, LeBron's a facilitator. He's a combination between Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson, and it seems like that they're successful more times than not whenever he plays the facilitator role, when he tries to get everybody else involved. And I just think that the Golden State Warriors had fantastic defense last night on everybody else. Now, they pretty much guarded LeBron man for man. I didn't really catch them playing and double-teaming LeBron James a lot of times. Thus, he took a lot of shots. He took a lot of shots last night. He made a lot of shots, obviously, with 44 points. But, yeah, I think the way that LeBron James teams historically have been better is when he facilitates. So I agree with that. From William Mack, LeBron, Kyrie, and Mozgov scored all of Cleveland's second half overtime points. No way in the world they can win without others getting involved. Yeah, a really crazy stat. J.R. Smith didn't take a shot in the second half after being on fire in that first quarter last night, in that first period last night. So, yeah, they're going to definitely look at that. And you know what? Once again, I kind of feel like, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, I kind of feel like that I'm calling the Cleveland Cavaliers dead. I don't want to say that. They're going to have a couple of games in Cleveland. They're going to figure out a way to get the ball to J.R. Smith. It's tough, the fact that they probably won't have Kyrie Irving going forward. But this thing ain't over. I feel like that I'm saying, in effect, reading between the lines, that this thing is over. I don't want to come off like that. It's definitely not over. Okay, they got professionals on this team as well. They got some guys that can get hot. You saw it last night once again from J.R. Smith. So it's not over, but last night really, really hurt Shawty. That's the title of the show. So we'll talk more about that when we get back. And when we also get back, I'm going to tell you and give you an example of why I hate the media so much. A lot of times. I'm technically in the media. But you know what I mean. Don't go away. The Doug Stewart Show. You've been thinking about starting that online store, right? And you do know e-commerce makes billions a year. That's right. I said billions with a B, okay? A B. Well, just do it, and do it right with my friends at AmeriCommerce. AmeriCommerce is an easy-to-use tool to sell anything online, on Facebook, and through mobile phones. Over 100,000 merchants and website owners have chosen AmeriCommerce to handle their stores and customers. They have the most in-depth features in the industry, which include multiple storefronts, website management from one console, a Facebook shopping application, a mobilized, optimized website, and much more. Don't let eBay, Amazon, and Zappos get all the money. Get your piece of the pie, too. Click on their banner link on thedougstewartshow.com or the app link for more details. First of all, thank you for listening to The Doug Stewart Show. Now, if you've been listening for a while, you know that we've grown exponentially over the first couple of months. Whether that's listens, whether that's followers, we're blowing up, and you can be a part of it. If you have a company out there and you like to promote on The Doug Stewart Show, we'd love to partner with you. Here's what you do. Email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Once again, that's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Whether that's locally, regionally, or nationally, we can get the word out. What you're talking about is middle-aged dudes that love sports and love exciting sports talk. Once again, email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com, and we will put you out there. All right? That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let's do some business. Yes! Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com, America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Fantastic Friday. Golden State goes up 1-0 in the NBA Finals over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Going to be a tough road going forward. You're talking about that. Obviously, I'm reading a lot of your chat. We're talking about anything you want to get into, really, on the Doug Stewart Show. This is a funky football, fantastic Friday. There's a lot of a lot of alliteration in that. But also, man, make sure if you have the opportunity to purchase or /donate and get you your first edition run T-shirt from the Doug Stewart Show on thedougstewartshow.com. If you donate /buy a T-shirt for $20 or more, if you donate more than $20 or more, we'll send you a Doug Stewart Show T-shirt, man. It's funny. It's fantastic, and trust me, it's a conversation starter. Once you wear it out in the street, somebody's definitely going to inquire about the T-shirt that you're wearing. So, yeah, donate to the Doug Stewart Show at thedougstewartshow.com. $20 or more, we will send you a T-shirt. All right, so journalist Kent Babb has a new book that's coming out about Allen Iverson. It's called Not a Game, The Incredible Rise and Unthinkable Fall of Allen Iverson. He basically, and the word I'm going to use is speculates, because that's all it is, to make a long story short. But the new book, here's a headline that I read that you can read from most publications, and especially on the Puppet Factory on ESPN.com. It says, new book says former 76ers star Allen Iverson drunk during a practice rant. Huh? Now, I kind of mentioned this yesterday for people that follow me on Facebook and on Twitter. I don't think I mentioned it on Twitter, but I did on Facebook. If you read this story, basically, journalist Kent Babb interviewed former Philadelphia 76ers Pat Croce, former coach Larry Brown, and former general manager Billy King, among others, about the rambling rant for his book, Not a Game. And according to the book, King suggested that Iverson speak to reporters 4 days after the Celtics had eliminated the Sixers in the first round of the 2002 Eastern Conference playoffs. The news conference came on the heels of Iverson showing up late for a meeting with Larry Brown, then arguing with Brown about the player's future in the parking lot of the team facility, according to the book. Iverson asked Brown, who days earlier had said any Sixer could be traded if he was on the block. Brown said no. After his talk with Brown, pay attention here now, Iverson left with a friend and returned later for the news conference. Here's a quote. I assumed he went and fooled around somewhere. Pay attention now. This is a quote from Larry Brown. I assumed he went and fooled around somewhere, Brown said, tipping his head up like a bottle, the author wrote in the book. Okay, you see where this is going? Before the news conference, King said he could tell that something was off about Iverson, but if we thought he was drinking or whatever, would have never done it. Let me repeat that sentence again. If we thought he was drinking or whatever, we'd have never done it, wrote Brab. Some were entertained and others watched the train work unfold, knowing from experience, listen to this line, and I'm going to sum this up here in a second, knowing from experience that Iverson was drunk. Okay, pay attention to that sentence. Knowing from experience that Iverson was drunk. Not knowing that he was drunk or not being with him at this said bar or whatever that Allen Iverson had left and came back from, that he had some drinks. King tried to think of a way to stop the press conference, the book said, while Croce watching on television. Croce was the GM of the Philadelphia 76ers. Listen to this. Said he suspected Iverson was drunk and asked his wife to shut off the TV. John Smallwood, listen to this, keep listening, and this is why you need the Doug Stewart Show. John Smallwood, a Daily News columnist who was in attendance, was also quoted as saying he was lit. If he had been sober, he would have been able to get himself out of that. He never would have gone down that path. Maybe you had to have been around him all the time to know the difference, but we all knew. That's all. That entire paragraph from this guy, John Smallwood, is all speculation. Iverson retired over a decade later and told reporters in 2013 he never should have done the news conference back in 2002. Quote, they had no idea my best friend had just been killed. Iverson said the press conference wasn't about practices. It was about me possibly being traded from Philadelphia. Nobody ever talked about that. Never heard why I was upset or what the conference was about. Now, the thing about Allen Iverson, you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, the thing about him and his friend, definitely that's a sad situation, but that was like 7 months before this press conference. So I don't know if something had happened recently in AI's life that brought back up the memory of his friend or whatever, but I don't understand why he would even reference that. And now let me also say this before I get into the meat of this beef that I have, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Allen Iverson may well have been sloppy-ass drunk for this press conference. Okay? He may have been. I don't know. Just like nobody else in this story, this BS story, knows if he was drunk or not. They never interviewed Allen Iverson, and he corroborated with the thought or made mention of the fact or admitted to that he had gotten drunk before this press conference. There's nobody and there's nothing in here from any of these quote-unquote people they talked to in the story that had any proof, any definitive proof. And, oh, yeah, it happened 13 years ago. So it's very misleading and it's very disheartening to read a headline that, in fact, matter-of-factly states that Allen Iverson was drunk. There is nothing in this article. There is nothing in this article that proves or that says that Allen Iverson agrees or states that he was drunk before the famous practice rant. Nothing. And this is why you have the Doug Stewart Show. Because what I do is I point things out. All right? I'm a pointer outer. That's what I do. Okay? And when I saw this story, I was like, damn, AI admitted to being drunk. So I read the story. And then after a couple of lines, like I just read it to you guys just now, I started noticing a trend. Like they keep using words like probably And if you knew him, you knew that, but they couldn't really confirm anything. And there's nothing in this story. This is all speculation. The entire story is speculation. Go back and read it. But if you don't pay attention, if you just read a headline and then you start listening to the talking heads on TV, in particular the Puppet Factory, then you're to believe that this was fact. There's no fact in here. It's all speculation. All. It's not a little bit. It's not one thing in there that's speculation. Every single instance that they use as evidence, quote unquote evidence, that Allen Iverson was drunk before this press conference is all speculation. It's all speculation. It's all innuendo. It's BS to sell books. But this is why you got the Doug Stewart Show, Shawty. This is why you have the Doug Stewart Show, because this is what I do is I point things out. Thank you for joining me today. You're welcome. You are welcome, listeners. Stewies, you're welcome. You're welcome. Go back and read it if you don't believe me. Go back and read it if you don't believe me. I kind of gave you the nuts and bolts of it just now, but go back and read it if you don't believe me. And this is like a constant thing. This happens so much, but this is like one of the most glaring times ever. You know, another time that I remember that really sticks out in my mind, you remember when the great Ed Werder from the Puppet Factory talked about how Terrell Owens' teammates in Dallas, you know, didn't like him or that he was a disruption. Somebody had told him that, and Terrell went ham. Terrell Owens went off. Like, who told you that? You know, like who told you that? And they just went back and forth, and it actually kind of went away. They kind of slunked out with the story and never really talked about it again. But Terrell Owens had enough of it, and he challenged them. And I think that more cats should do that as well. Once again, now I'm not saying that this isn't actually true, but you shouldn't be able to print something like this. And I think it's very irresponsible to print the story like it's true and like you are basing this on some type of fact, okay? You don't. Unless you hear Allen Iverson say this and confirm that this happened, or you have a witness that was there that's willing to come on record and state this, you know, and even that's not 100%. I don't know about that. I hate when they use these sources. And we actually had a bit many, many years ago about sources, quote unquote. But this isn't even that. It's not even that. It falls short of that if you read this story. It's much even, you know, below those types of proof and evidence in this story. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. You can also email me at Doug@theDougStewartShow.com. When we get back from the break, it'll be hour number 2 of the Doug Stewart Show. And what I'm going to do is read chat. And we'll also get into more NBA talk. The commissioner of the NBA speaks on this Hacker Shack stuff. We'll get into that a little bit. I'll read more of your chat. What are your thoughts on this AI story, quote unquote story? NBA Finals, do you think it's a wrap for the Cleveland Cavaliers? Anything and everything that you want to get into, we can do it on the Doug Stewart Show. All right, sports talk with hot sauce. Don't go away. In life, things happen, good and bad. And being prepared is always important. If you're like me, a husband, a father, and protector of that family tree, then your family is the most important thing in the world. 95 million U.S. adults don't have protection in place. So, what I've done is put my protection in the hands of the largest and number one independent financial services company in North America, and that's Primerica. They look out for middle America because they believe that offering the most competitive premiums only benefits the client and have been doing so since 1977. If you're a parent, husband, or wife and want to discuss options with one of Primerica's top reps, then call my guy, Greg Wynn, at 678-439-7172. Again, that's 678-439-7172, and he'll put your family first. And hey, tell him that Doug Stewart sent you. Yes! This is your boy Doug Stewart, one half of the Two Live Stews. Check out my brand new daily show and podcast that airs live Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Spreaker.com. That's the Doug Stewart Show daily at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Time, live on Spreaker.com. Or check out the podcast anytime, 24/7. If you're not stewing, what in the world are you doing?
National Debt Relief is one of the country's largest and most reputable debt settlement companies, made up of energetic individuals who are passionate about helping thousands of Americans with debt relief. Most importantly, we're all about helping our customers through a tough financial time in their lives with education and individual customer service. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families rid their lives of burdensome debt. Specializing in debt settlement, and they've also negotiated settlements for thousands of creditor and collection accounts. Providing clients with both expertise and proven results, this means helping customers in time of hardship to get out of debt with the least possible cost. It can also mean conducting financial consultations, educating the customer, and recommending the appropriate solution. Core Services offer debt settlement as an alternative. I repeat, alternative to bankruptcy, credit counseling, and debt consolidation. National Debt Relief is your #1 advocate group to help you reestablish financial stability as quickly as possible. So give us a call at 844-828-4975. Again, that's 844-828-4975, and work it out.
If you're not stewing, what the hell are you doing? This is the Doug Stewart Show. Hour number 2. Yes, sir. Fantastic Football Friday. We're going to talk kind of a little bit of football here in a little bit. Adrian Peterson's in the news. Aaron Hernandez. And maybe we shouldn't even talk about Aaron Hernandez in the football category anymore because he's done with football. I mean, Aaron Hernandez will never see a football field again in his life. I mean, unless he's playing for the Mean Machine or something like that. But so we'll talk about a little story with him coming up in a bit. The number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Boyle Peanuts Award coming up in about 15 minutes. Stay tuned for that. Your nominees, ESPN, for nominating or giving the Arthur Ashe Courage Award to Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner, same person, same dude. Also, Creflo Dollar has been nominated for accepting or about to accept a $70 million jet. That's horrible. Sluggo, one of the listeners, love you, Sluggo, but your ass has been nominated. Your ass has been nominated for a Boyle Peanuts Award for worrying about grown people business. In effect, so you're nominated. And our very own Tree Taylor has been nominated. So that's coming up in about 15 minutes. And Tree, I don't even remember specifically what Tree did. She did something Tree-like. She did something Tree-like, corrected me one too many times or whatever. And, I mean, it's fine. That's the job of a producer to correct somebody. But, I mean, so Tree's been nominated. All right, and so we'll dole out that Boyle Peanuts Award in about 15 minutes. Stay tuned to that. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. From Leon, here's some chat here. We're talking about the NBA Finals. He says, Kyrie situation reminds me more of RG3's situation. Blatt about to F up his career. Had no business playing him 43 minutes. Fire Blatt. # Fire Blatt. From Gridiron Assassin, Tom Thibodeau will be the Cavs' new head coach. You think so? No, I don't see that. I don't see that as a good match, especially with what happened last night. That would be very interesting. I mean, it seems like Thibodeau's very respected by basketball people, even though he got ran out of Chicago because he, in effect, ran his players into the ground. So that'd be very interesting. From Dollars and Cents, right? Benny Blatt, some moron that allowed Kyrie to play 23 minutes in a meaningless game versus the Hawks instead of getting a few more days of rest and treatment. That comes from Dollars and Cents. So, yeah, people are talking about it. You guys are talking about what's going on with David Blatt keeping Kyrie Irving in the game last night as the Golden State Warriors do win Game 1 of the NBA Finals, 108-100. A couple of things to mention. One, you notice how your boy Matthew Dellavedova, and I saw someone mention this in the chat, punk-ass Matthew Dellavedova only played 9 minutes last night. This fool couldn't even get the ball up the court. Kyrie was in his shorts. That didn't sound right, but you know what I mean. He was in his shorts, couldn't even advance the ball really, had 0 points, and I, for one, am very happy because of that. I am a Matthew Dellavedova hater, and I'm proud to be one. You know, that word a lot of times is used too much. They overuse that term hater. But in this particular case right here, I think that's apropos. That's fine. That's perfect. That's what I'll be for Matthew Dellavedova. It shouldn't even be of consequence. We shouldn't even be talking about Matthew Dellavedova. That crap that he pulled, oh, he's a scrapper. He's scrappy. That's why he's in the NBA. And probably, you know, part of the reason why he is in the NBA is because he is one of those quote-unquote scrappy guys. But scrappy and dirty, in this sense, are pretty much the same damn thing. The good. So punk-ass Matthew Dellavedova. Oh, yeah, and the other thing I wanted to mention, you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I got lost my train of thought there for a second thinking about old Delly, as they call him. Did you check out Steph Curry's post-game get-up? The man had on a tuxedo. Steph Curry had on a tuxedo. Yeah, the man had on a tuxedo coat last night. I don't know if he actually had the matching pants or not. I thought that was kind of cute. He did a little post-game press conference with the TV broadcast after the game right there on the court kind of. And he didn't have little Riley with him. That would always be very interesting. But the man had on a tuxedo. Very, very interesting stuff. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. This is the Doug Stewart Show. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. But the easy way to be totally interactive, man, is to hit me up on Spreaker, on the Spreaker chat at Spreaker.com. I wanted to mention this as well, a little story I ran across today, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Do we got any weed smokers out there? I know. You didn't expect that, did you? You didn't expect that. I'm sure we got some people that indulge in the sticky icky, the marijuana. But Kirkland-based wholesale megastore Costco has announced plans to offer bulk high-grade marijuana under their flagship Kirkland signature brand in all 237 Washington locations. Is it that or is it this? I'm just asking. The marijuana will be exclusively purchased from the Suquamish tribe. I believe that's the proper way to pronounce it, which is currently awaiting federal approval to begin production. Tribal gaming commissioners met with Costco executives more than 3 months ago to work on a tentative deal. Kirkland Signature hopes to add marijuana to its laundry list of goods, including baby clothes, shampoo, dad shoes, by the end of June. What are your thoughts on that, man? Like, when I start hearing about, and, you know, obviously you can sell marijuana is legal in some states, and Washington being one of them. Costco is selling marijuana, is going to start selling marijuana. Like, that's a major milestone in this country's history. It almost reminds me, not almost, it definitely reminds me of Prohibition. And how one day you go to jail or you get busted for drinking alcohol and producing alcohol, and the next day they could sell it as soon as the government could find a way to get its cut. And that's kind of where we're heading towards right now. And I know this is totally outside of sports, but I wanted to make sure to remember to talk about this today because I found this fascinating. Like, this is 2015. Like, give me a projection when you think it'll be legal to smoke marijuana in every state of this country. At what point? Are we a year from that, 5 years from that, 10 years from that? Because it's going to happen. It's going to happen, okay? Once again, they've already legalized it in a couple of states already. Washington, Colorado of note. I think they've even got it legalized in some states in the Northeast. I'll try to find the list at some point here. But what do you think about this? I mean, you don't have to acknowledge if you're a weed smoker or not. Just tell me in the chat, you know somebody that smokes weed. And what are your conversations, your thoughts on it? You know, I don't know anything about this. I know that a lot of people like weed. I've been around a lot of weed smokers in my day. Okay? I don't know nothing about marijuana. I mean, not me. Okay? So, but what are your thoughts about this, man? This is huge. Like, if Costco's doing this, and we're in Georgia, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, if Costco's doing this, then Walmart isn't too far behind. And I guess when at the end of the day, Costco took a look at this. This is some real talk we're having here, okay? This is serious talk here. I guess at the end of the day, Costco was like, they want to get some of that money. I mean, they sell things. They're a retail store. They sell things, a wholesale store in particular. They sell things. That is what they're in the business of doing, is selling things. And this thing, this product, is definitely flying out of the doors. And so Costco wants some of that money. And so you got to figure, you got to believe that Walmart and big, huge wholesale stores like that, department stores are probably next. They aren't too far behind. What are your thoughts about this, man? You got kids? You know, this is a little marijuana talk here. I know from left field, but once again, I wanted to make sure that I got this out there and got your thoughts and your opinions on that on Spreaker.com. Or you can give me a call at 404-382-0338. This is 2015, man. And, like, I don't see any way why within the next 10 years, there's no way we get past 2025 and marijuana not be legal in every state in the country. That's my prognostication. And it might even be before that, but definitely no more than 10 years, it's going to be legal in every state. That's a huge thing. When you talk about big things in this country's history, you talk about like the wheel, the Industrial Revolution, a microwave oven. You talk about things like that. You talk about, I don't know, Atari 2600. And then you're going to talk about marijuana being legalized in this country. Do you think we're going to hell in a handbag? Or do you think it's not that big of a deal? What are your thoughts on that, man? 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. I know we kind of took a little twist just now, but that's what we do on the Doug Stewart Show. I talk about you and what everybody's talking about. I think this is a big deal. I mean, this is a huge, huge ass deal. That we're going to the level of a national brand wholesaler, i.e. Costco, selling marijuana to its consumers, to its customers. I just think that's a huge deal. What are your thoughts on that? If you got kids and you were in a state, this is a hypothetical question, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. If you have kids, and all of a sudden, let's say you're in the state of Georgia, and Georgia just legalizes marijuana, and they start selling it in Walmart. Does that put a different spin on it? If you have an adult child, like 25, 30 years old, would you be okay with him as in, before he used to bring a six-pack over and share a six-pack with your son or whatever? And if your son brings over, I don't know, an ounce of marijuana, I don't know. Is that a lot? I've heard that term in the movies before. If he brings over an ounce of marijuana or whatever, would you share it with him? It's legal. Just like you shared a beer with him. Would you go to that length? It seems like it's okay. It's going to be okay. No. What are your thoughts on that, man? Wow. Prohibition. Same scenario. You saw Boardwalk Empire. You know how it went down on HBO. Great Nucky Thompson. You know how it went down. Chalky White. I think that's where we're headed, man. Costco is selling weed. Lord have mercy, help us. When we get back from the break, man, all I'm going to do is read chat, and we will give out that Boyle Peanuts Award. Don't go away. This is the Doug Stewart Show. In life, things happen, good and bad. Being prepared is always important. If you're like me, a husband, a father, and protector of that family tree, then your family is the most important thing in the world. 95 million U.S. adults don't have protection in place. So, what I've done is put my protection in the hands of the largest and number one independent financial services company in North America, and that's Primerica. They look out for middle America because they believe that offering the most competitive premiums only benefits the client and have been doing so since 1977. If you're a parent, husband, or wife and want to discuss options with one of Primerica's top reps, then call my guy, Greg Wynn, at 678-439-7172. Again, that's 678-439-7172, and he'll put your family first. And hey, tell him that Doug Stewart sent you. Yes!
The best of the Doug Stewart Show.
I'd been talking about red rice and frogmore stew. Another one on the list, on number 13 on this list, is penis tastes better boiled. Yes. And as God is my witness, my wife did not know people boiled penis and ate them. She did not. My wife's from Ohio. And yes, boiled peanuts, if cooked right, are the bomb.
Sports talk. Straight, no chaser.
All right, so I got to clear something up. and I don't even know why anybody's mind would even work like this, but evidently it's becoming a topic of conversation. In the last segment, I was talking about boiled peanuts, okay, that come from out of the ground, not boiled peanuts. And so, evidently there's some talk in the chat room about Doug talking about boiled man parts. No, peanuts. I'm trying to say it as slow as I can. Peanuts, okay? What is it, P-E-A-N-U-T-S? Peanuts. No, man, not boiled peanuts. Come on, man. And I see Vern in here. Damn you, Vern. Ugh. Y'all know what the hell I was saying. This is the Doug Stewart Show. What is 911 Tax Relief? It's a tax relief company that can help you reduce or remove your IRS or state tax debt. They'll help stop bank levies and wage garnishments by implementing offers in compromise or penalty abatements. 911 Tax Relief is a tax relief company, but they're different from the others. Their experts are licensed, enrolled tax agents, and they also have more than 12 years' experience helping people solve their tax problems. They're a tax relief company that understands how the IRS works, and they'll also put that knowledge to work for you, so they can get you the best possible settlement or solution to your tax problems. Highly rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they've helped thousands of people solve their tax problems. So, don't play around. Click on their link on my website and let 911 Tax Relief help you in your situation with Uncle Sam. Penis tastes better boiled.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to begin our study of the male erection. We are adults. Now, I want everybody together to go ahead and say, penis, penis, penis.
Penis tastes better. Penis tastes better. Penis tastes better boiled.
Come on, y'all, say it.
No, man. Peanuts. I'm trying to say it as slow as I can. Peanuts. P-E-A-N-U-T-S. Peanuts. Y'all know what the hell I was saying.
Come on, y'all, say it.
It's that time of the week. Who's going to get some boiled penis today? Your weekly Boiled Penis Award is brought to you by Primerica, National Debt Relief, and Ticket Liquidator. Oh, man. Thank you for joining me on the Doug Stewart Show. So here are your nominees. Here are your nominees for the Boiled Penis Award. First is ESPN
for giving Caitlyn Jenner the Bruce or the Arthur Ashe, award for courage. I just don't understand where courage comes in for a guy just stating something, Nobody asked him that anyway. I mean, to be honest with you, once again, nothing against Bruce Jenner. He did this on his own. I don't understand the courage in that whole thing. And ESPN, a lot of this has to do with politics and with money. Once again, nothing against the great Bruce Jenner or Caitlyn Jenner, whatever he's calling himself now or she's calling himself now. But I don't think it's I think there's a lot more people more deserving of the Arthur Ashe Courage Award than Caitlyn Jenner. So they've been nominated, ESPN. Creflo Dollar has been nominated for accepting or apparently going to accept a $65 million airplane from his congregation. And they have the ability to do what they want with their money and talking about the congregation. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I just think that ministers should be held to a higher standard. And I said this the other day. Me and Tree got into this debate about it on the show. In my opinion, you can tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm missing something. A minister's purpose is to do two things. One, to deliver the word. And two, to help out his parishioners, the people in his congregation, the community, in effect. And I think that that's excessive. A $65 million plane is excessive, especially from the community in which this church is in here in Metro Atlanta. And I think that money could be used to help the community. And, I just think it's an excess. It's one of those sins, gluttony. And then Tree Taylor was nominated, our own Tree Taylor. That hurts. And I think she was nominated a week ago. She was nominated for something a week ago, even before, this present week of Boiled Penis nominations on last Friday. And then she ultimately, I think, got 2 stars added to her name. So clearly she's the favorite in this whole thing. So Tree Taylor's been nominated. And then Sluggo. We love you, Sluggo. Thank you for listening to the show. Thank you for passing the word of the Doug Stewart Show. We thank you a lot. But you can't be worrying about grown people's business, man. Trying to get the particulars or the inner workings of the Doug Stewart Show. Don't worry about that, player. Don't you worry about that. Stay out grown people business. Thank you for listening once again. He came on in the chat room and asked about who's supposed to be sending out the T-shirts, so-and-so. Stop that, man. Stop that. I'm almost 50 around here. A dude hit me the other day. My man Ed from Vegas. Shouts out to Ed from Vegas. I just don't. He says we were talking about something, and I guess he's an older cat, and he says to me on Twitter, you're a nice young fella, or he didn't even say that. He says y'all a cool sport. He called me sport or something like that. I said, man, I'm almost 50. Yeah, I'm closer to 50 than 40. Yeah. So listen, we grown people around here is the moral of the story. And so, Sluggo, you had to be nominated for Boiled Penis Award. All right. And so, without further ado, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, I'm getting a ton of weed conversation, I see. We'll get back to the chat in a second. Without further ado, this week's Boiled Penis Award winner. Oh, I hate to do this, man. I hate to do this. Your weekly, or this week's Boiled Penis Award winner is... Creflo Dollar. Yeah. And I really hate doing this. What you thought it was going to be, Tree? The Tree obviously was a strong contender this week. But my gosh, man, Creflo Dollar is a man of the Lord. And he should take $65 million. Most people can agree. I don't understand why his parishioners feel so strong about letting the preacher ride in style. I mean, he could simply get on a commercial airplane like everybody else and use the difference in that money to help people out, man. I just think you should be held to a higher standard. Nothing wrong with having nice things and good things. I'm not saying I want the man to be a pauper or anything like that. But come on, man.
Come on, man. What are you really doing here? What are you trying to accomplish? I think this is horrible. This is one of the most horrible things that I've ever talked about on radio, on the internet ever, man. I just think it's bad. So Creflo Dollars is this week Boiled Peanuts winner. Well deserved. Well deserved. Now listen, you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. If you see me in them streets and you're a fan of the great Creflo Dollar, I mean, this ain't nothing but healthy conversation. This is one man's opinion. Don't get offended. Don't try to retaliate for your minister, okay? And just be sensible. Let's be civil about this thing, okay? Let's be civil about this thing. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Look at Sluggo, still being totally interactive. I got a post from Sluggo. Even though we nominated him for a Boiled Penis Award. Good for you, Sluggo. Thank you. Sluggo says editors wouldn't even publish the book unless you include some sensational bullish. Know that. Yeah, that's exactly right. And talking about that Allen Iverson book coming out, where if you read the story, it's all speculation. It's all innuendo. There's no facts at all. There's no corroboration from Allen Iverson. He didn't get this from Allen Iverson. He didn't get this from anybody that allegedly saw this. It's all speculation in his bootleg. But the headline says definitively, you know. It doesn't say possibly. See, he could have even got away with this crap if he would have put the word possibly drunk. But that's not salacious enough, so they put it matter-of-factly, Allen Iverson drunk for legendary rant on practice, which is a lie. In effect, it's a lie. And shame on you. Al the Bandit Dude just trying to sell books. From Matt, drunk people don't have clear eyes. That's another thing about this I didn't even mention. If you look at that interview where Allen Iverson is going off talking about practice, the rant they're calling it, his eyes look clear as hell to me. Trust me, I know how a guy looks when he's drunk. I know how a dude's eyes supposed to look, especially a black man. Come on, man. I think we inherently, to a degree, got redder eyes than most other people in this world. And he didn't look drunk to me. He didn't look like a dude. He wasn't really slurring his words or anything like that. It's horrible. I hate that. I hate that. Thus, once again, you have the Doug Stewart Show. From Matt, he says, people don't read, comprehend, Doug. Most only read the headlines and accept them as fact, talking about the AI story. William Mack, I live in Alabama. It's barely legal to marry interracially. We might be about 70 years off from legalizing weed. Yeah, I was actually William Mack. I was actually talking about the rest of the country. I wasn't talking about Alabama and Mississippi. I'm just joking. For Real People Music, the only right way to make weed legal is let everyone who is locked up on weed charges out of jail then. Yeah, man, a lot of people are in jail for a long, long time. They got their third strike on marijuana. And a lot of people talk about, the disparaging differences between certain drugs and certain convictions in our legal system. That's going to be an interesting thing. Like, are you going to have a lot of cases thrown out? Are you going to open up the doors to jails and let a lot of cats out because they got weed charges? Or are they grandfathered in and they ask them to stay in? That's a very interesting social conversation that we're going to have at some point if this marijuana thing picks up steam. Definitely, I agree with that. From the 47th problem, weed should be legal across the land. Man is from the earth. God gave us weed, man. Okay, thank you, Rasta 45th or 47th problem. Rasta man. It's from the earth, man. I get what you're saying. That's always the argument. It's from the earth. Alcohol is man-made. You speak to a real weed smoker, that's the first thing they're going to say. It's from the earth, man. How can it be wrong? It's from the earth. I don't know. It's an interesting discussion as well. Lamont Hart, if they legalize weed, the deficit would come down dramatically. It's only smart to legalize it and tax the hell out of it. And which is very interesting on why the government hadn't taken the opportunity to do that across the board. You're talking about a huge income stream. When I say huge, I mean there's really huge is an understatement. I mean, to use the term huge is an understatement in talking about this conversation. I mean, it really is. Yeah. So what we're going to do when we get back from the break is read more chat. And I'm also talking about the commissioner of the NBA Adam Silver, and his thoughts on Hack-a-Shaq. A lot of people have been voicing their displeasure with that this year. You saw what happened in the playoffs. We'll talk about that a little bit when we get back from the break, and I'm going to read more of your chat. Don't go away. This is The Doug Stewart Show. Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com, America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU.
The Doug Stewart Show.
The place where the real players play.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service.
The Doug Stewart Show.
That's a brand name. Like Pepsi, that's a brand name. I stand behind it. I guarantee it.
The Doug Stewart Show.
If you ain't stewing, what the hell are you doing? Yeah! What is 911 Tax Relief? It's a tax relief company that can help you reduce or remove your IRS or state tax debt. They'll help stop bank levies and wage garnishments by implementing offers and compromise or penalty abatements. 911 Tax Relief is a tax relief company, but they're different from the others. Their experts are licensed, enrolled tax agents, and they also have more than 12 years' experience helping people solve their tax problems. They're a tax relief company that understands how the IRS works, and they'll also put that knowledge to work for you, so they can get you the best possible settlement or solution to your tax problems. Highly rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they've helped thousands of people solve their tax problems. So, don't play around. Click on their link on my website and let 911 Tax Relief help you in your situation with Uncle Sam. You talk about weed. I mean, this whole generation has been influenced by these guys. All the artists from Death Row Records, Dr. Dre, Snoop, Dog Pound. I mean, that was the major content of all of their music was weed and chronic. Am I lying? Who else has promoted weed more so than the Death Row camp, than the West Coast Dr. Dre, NWA camp? Chronic this, chronic that. Talking about marijuana, and Costco's going to be selling it in the state of Washington. You're listening to The Doug Stewart Show. This segment is brought to you by National Debt Relief. They're one of the country's largest and most reputable debt settlement companies specializing in debt settlement, and they've also negotiated settlements for thousands of creditors and collection accounts. Core Services offer debt settlement as an alternative, I repeat, an alternative to bankruptcy, credit counseling, and debt consolidation. So give them a call at 844-828-4975. Before you file bankruptcy, you do something rash like that, talk to my folks at National Debt Relief. The number is 844-828-4975. Once again, 844-828-4975. And make sure and let them know that the Doug Stewart Show sent you. Yes, sir. If you like, you can donate to the show, man. TheDougStewartShow.com. Click on the little donate button. If you donate $20 or more, we will send you an official Doug Stewart Show t-shirt. And we really appreciate your business, man, you patronizing the show, telling people about the show. Show's doing fantastic. We had over 50 tweets or retweets yesterday promoting the Doug Stewart Show. We're doing it one listener at a time. We're going to be at some point here very soon over 200,000 listens to the show. I believe we're already over 7,000 followers or 6,000 followers on Spreaker. So this is, I think, our 8th month doing this, man. So the show is doing fantastic, but it is grassroots. It is a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Very small operation, obviously. The monies that we get for the most part, man, are helping to market the show and get the word out about the show. And it's harder than you think with internet radio. It's much harder than I thought it would be getting the word out. It's very expensive as well getting the word out about a show at this level. But every day we make it bigger and better with your help. So thank you very much. Donate, man. Tip your waiter. Tip your waiter. Simple as that. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said Thursday that there's little likelihood in the league reforming some of the widely discussed issues such as intentional fouling and conference imbalance that have been talked about a lot this year. And I like Adam Silver, man, for the most part. I mean, I like David Stern, too. David Stern pissed me off with a lot of little things that he's done or he had done when he was the commissioner of the NBA. For the most part, I like David Stern. I really hated that whole dress code thing, which is crazy. Whatever happened to the dress code, and I'm kind of going off the track here for a second. Whatever happened to the whole dress code thing? Speaking of Allen Iverson, you know that whole thing was about Allen Iverson, right? I mean, let's just be honest. That whole dress code thing was about Allen Iverson, which was off the chain a little bit. I'll agree to that. But I hate the fact of un-American things. Like telling somebody how to dress is un-American. I kind of get it in this situation. This is kind of like a uniform. It was kind of proposed like it was a uniform type thing. He works for a private company. They want him to dress a certain way. I get that. But it was all geared towards urban dress. In particular, Allen Iverson, who always took it too damn far, showing up to press conferences with do-rags on and whatnot. But I hate that type of stuff, man. But whatever happened to it? You know, whatever happened to it? Because this cat's not following no dress code. I think at the time, it was supposed to be you were supposed to wear a coat, not necessarily a tie, but you were supposed to wear a coat. You were supposed to wear slacks. I think they even made them wear hard-bottom shoes. I'm not sure exactly, but that was bootleg. LeBron James, I saw a picture of him yesterday. He did a press conference. This ninja had on a Michael Jackson leather jacket with like 30 zippers on it. One of the Run DMC fedoras on. And he had like a T-shirt on, gold chains or whatever. Like, what happened to the dress code? What happened to it? That was biased. I hated that. But anyway, back to Adam Silver, who's now the new NBA commissioner. He says that they're not going to really address people clamoring for, you know, the league to institute some type of rule against the hack-a-shack. Because in effect, what he's saying, man, for the most part, it's two guys, which is true. It's only two guys. It's Dwight Howard and it's DeAndre Jordan from the Los Angeles Clippers. So it's Dwight Howard and it's DeAndre Jordan. And they're two guys in a league of 30 teams with 13 to 15 guys on each team. They should learn how to shoot free throws or sit their ass on the bench. It's as simple as that. And you know what? It is hokey and it is Bush League looking and it's not aesthetically pleasing. I get that. And it seems kind of, you know, it seems kind of sophomoric. It seems kind of Bush League to run and grab a guy and make him go to the stripe and shoot a free throw. But it's strategy. I don't have a problem with it at all. Them guys got to learn how to shoot free throws. And you think that you learn how to be a better free throw shooter if you're Dwight Howard and you've been in the NBA and really your offensive game sucks in general. But you would think it wouldn't be hard to figure out how to situate your hand on the ball and just push it up there and get it in. You know, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm okay. I'm with Adam Silver saying that they aren't going to change anything or look at this hack-a-shack and try to address it. I don't think you should do that for two guys, in effect. When you got a whole league of guys that can hit free throws. I mean, hell, they call them free throws. Let's be honest about this. They call them free throws. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Let me read more of your chat here and get your thoughts on what we've been talking about all day long on the show on this fantastic Football Friday. Shouts out to everybody in the chat room. Yes, sir. Who we got here? From Texas Ty. He says ESPN lowered credibility and standards of Arthur Ashe. A lot of people already make that argument that that's been the case for a long, long time, Texas Ty. This whole thing with Arthur Ashe, the Arthur Ashe Award being awarded to Caitlyn Jenner, it's not a good look. It's as simple as that. And trust me, they have a lot of very smart people and a lot of people that are paid just to respond and react to things like this. And they've actually come out with a statement about this and saying that they feel that there's nothing wrong with it, and that they think that Bruce Jenner has shown a lot of courage in coming out to the world that he's a transgender man, woman, however you say it, and that they have no plans on changing their winner to this award. Let's see. From that, they're going to ban Doug on Old Nat L. They're going to ban Doug on Old Nat L. Why would they ban me on Old Nat L? Let's see. And going back to the Creflo Dollar thing or whatever. Whatever, son. Whatever. Trust me, there's a ton of people down there on Old Nat L that feel the same way about Creflo Dollar as I do. And that most, I believe, reasonable people do. And that's all it is reasonably thinking. Just think reasonable. Be reasonable, Creflo. Think about that. $70 million? You know how much $70 million would go in curing and basically eliminating homelessness in this city of Atlanta? $70 million? Oh, man. You know how many shelters you can build with that? Don't get me started. From Scotty, anybody that agree with Creflo shares in the BPA by default? I tend to agree. From that ninja, 2 years in a row, the four-letter network has given the Arthur Ashe Award to men that have to, quote, Corey Holcomb, chocolate chip sheets. Ooh, that sounds nasty. Chocolate chip sheets. Yeah, okay, I don't even want to imagine that, that ninja. That sounds, it doesn't sound good at all. This is the Doug Stewart Show. This is the Doug Stewart Show, 404-382-0338. Definitely, you feel like there's an agenda by a lot of these things that the Puppet Factory does. You do. I mean, we're not stupid. Once again, we're reasonable. We're reasonable. Someone mentioned the other day, a couple of weeks ago. Oh, was it a couple? No, it was this week. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Someone brought up Devin Still and Leah Still and how when you talk about courage, who, by the way, Leah Still has suffered what they're calling a setback in her fight against cancer. They highlighted that story. They did a piece on Devin and Leah Still. And, I mean, that's simple right there, man. I mean, you talk about courage. I mean, every time you see the little Leah Still girl, she's always positive. For the most part, she's always smiling, even though we know that she's very sick. And Devin Still, her father, who plays for the Cincinnati Bengals, plays for the Bengals, showing a lot of courage, man, as a tandem. Don't you think that's a great story? Once again, I got to say this a million times. I have personally nothing against Bruce/Caitlyn Jenner. Nothing, okay? But I don't understand where the word courage comes in at. You know, nobody asked you. I think it would be courage. If you fought something or did something that people are rebelling against. I don't know anybody that's really technically mad or rebelling against Bruce Jenner. I don't see, and even if they were rebelling or mad or he was getting a lot of negative feedback on his social networks or whatever, there's no need for an announcement. If you want to be a woman, go ahead and do it. I don't understand why there's a connection between courage and you making a statement about your sexuality and about the fact that you're a transgender and you're changing your sex. Once again, I got to say it a million times. Nothing against it. I don't understand the connection between courage and that, though. I don't. And if there is, and if you can find a way to say that there's something courageous about him coming out, in relative terms, is it more courageous in the story of Leah and Devin Still? No. Just for an example, for some of the stories that ESPN has thrown out there this year as far as courage. There were several others. There was another young lady who passed from cancer, and I can't recall her name right now, that they highlighted and talking about her wanting to play college basketball, and they actually made that happen, kind of like a Make-A-Wish Foundation type scenario. So, yeah, I think that I don't think that that's the way to go in that award. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Just personal opinions, man. Once again, bless the great Bruce Jenner. I wish him, or Caitlyn Jenner, I wish him success. If he's happy, that's all that matters. If he likes it, I love it. And once again, don't think that society is going to hell in a handbag. I talked about this on Monday. I told you the story about the lady who used to fix my mother's hair 40 years ago, Vicky. God bless the dead. I mean, this type of thing happens every once in a while. It's been going on for over 40 years to my knowledge. When you talk about Vicky. So I don't think your kids, your little boys, are going to run off to the doctor now and trying to be the next Caitlyn Jenner. So just relax. It's okay. It's okay. When we get back from the break, man, we'll wrap up today's show. And I'll tell you a little bit about Jim Brown, man. He agreed to ish. More on that up next on the Doug Stewart Show. Don't go away. In life, things happen, good and bad. And being prepared is always important. If you're like me, a husband, a father, and protector of that family tree, then your family is the most important thing in the world. 95 million U.S. adults don't have protection in place. So, what I've done is put my protection in the hands of the largest and number one independent financial services company in North America, and that's Primerica. They look out for middle America because they believe that offering the most competitive premiums only benefits the client and have been doing so since 1977. If you're a parent, husband, or wife and want to discuss options with one of Primerica's top reps, then call my guy, Greg Wynn, at 678-439-7172. Again, that's 678-439-7172, and he'll put your family first. And hey, tell him that Doug Stewart sent you. Yes! I don't like Johnny Gill. He took my spot on New Edition. One of my favorite songs of all time from New Edition is Can You Stand the Rain? So to pay ode to that famous song, man, I'm going to give you my little rendition of Can You Stand the Rain?
On a perfect day, I know that I can count on you. Ooh. When that's not possible, tell me, can you weather the storm? Then Ralph jumps in. 'Cause I need somebody who will stand. Shut up! Who will stand by me through the good times and bad times. She will always be right there. Hey, sunny days. Everybody has them. Tell me, baby, can you stand the rain?
J-Rob, Tree, if you stop Doug singing, we will renege your BPA nomination.
Huh?
Buster, Doug, I see why you got kicked out of New Edition. Wait a minute. Back up, Jack. Shut up. Studio audience, y'all are out of control today. I mean, seriously, we're going to talk about this. We're going to have to take y'all into Larry's office after this show. That ninja, you just cracked my damn phone screen. What? Where's all of this coming from? Who's putting y'all up to say these things? Who's putting y'all... Okay, Tree, jump on for a second. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Did you prompt these people to say these nasty things to me on Spreaker.com?
You know what?
I mean, it's jealousy. Tree, we know that you sing. But you don't have to be the only person that can sing, okay? I can see it. What do the kids call it? Hating? Is that what's going on here, Tree? Are you hating on Doug Stewart?
Dirty Della.
Oh, my God.
Dirty Della. Oh. Dirty Della. Oh.
First of all, thank you for listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Now, if you've been listening for a while, you know that we've grown exponentially over the first couple of months. Whether that's listens, whether that's followers, we're blowing up. and you can be a part of it. If you have a company out there and you like to promote on the Doug Stewart Show, we'd love to partner with you. Here's what you do. Email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Once again, that's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Whether that's locally, regionally, or nationally, we can get the word out. What you're talking about is middle-aged dudes that love sports and love exciting sports talk. Once again, email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com, and we will put you out there, all right? That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let's do some business. Yes! Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Fantastic Football Friday. Shouts out to everybody in the chat room. All of the Stewies. Really appreciate the love. Hey, man. I left a little tweet on my timeline, and then I posted another tweet that says, retweet the last tweet that I tweeted. So I plan to leave that up the entire weekend. So help your boy promote the show, man. Really would appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me on the Doug Stewart Show. This segment is brought to you by Ticket Liquidator. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers to give you the opportunity to attend the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. The goal is to bring you more tickets, better service, and lower prices so that you can be there to witness the best of the world of entertainment, culture, and sports has to offer. So, for all your ticket needs, man, give my folks a call at Ticket Liquidator, 855-638-3034. Once again, that's 855-638-3034. All right. Quickly, man, and I'm going to read some more chat before I get out of here. And be careful on them streets this weekend. Quickly, two quick stories I wanted to mention briefly at least. Jury selection for the double murder trial of former New England Patriots player Aaron Hernandez will be tentatively scheduled for December 1st. A judge said on Thursday. Superior Court Judge Jeffrey Locks also set a date of January 4th for the trial to begin in earnest. Hernandez was not present at said hearing. I don't know how I feel about this because you already know that Aaron Hernandez has been found guilty of murder of his friend Olden Lloyd. And he got life without the chance of parole for that. I mean, so he's done. He's not getting out of jail ever. So I guess this is a situation where the families of the two people that they believe he killed want some type of justice. They just want it out. They just want it known. They want to find out the truth if they can, as much of the truth as they can, I guess. But the other side of this story to me, and I'm looking at this, is he ain't never, ever getting out of jail. And maybe a lawyer can let me know. Maybe I'm missing this part of the story. Are they going to try, if he gets convicted of these, maybe they give him the death penalty? Maybe it's more to be added on to. The only thing worse than life in prison without parole is the death penalty, right? Maybe that's the case. But I kind of look at it right now, not thinking that is the case, that this is really a waste of taxpayer money. You know, unless they're trying to get the death penalty, this is a lot of money being spent, a lot of time, a lot of money as well. Jurors, you got to bring in jurors, everything that it would take that goes into a trial. I would suspect it costs a lot of money in paying the judges and lawyers, this, that, and the other. So I don't know. I kind of feel some type of way about, continuing to try for this guy when you know he's not getting out of jail. It must be, and maybe somebody that listens to the show that knows an attorney can ask the question. I'll ask the question to an attorney that I know, maybe at some point this weekend about it, to see if maybe there's a possibility that he can get the chair. And also, Hall of Famer Jim Brown said he didn't endorse the decision to unretire his number 44 jersey at Syracuse. Now, when asked for an explanation, Brown said, "I didn't talk to anyone before they decided to do it, so they couldn't have had my blessings." In effect, Jim Brown is saying, in an interview that he did on yesterday, he says, I didn't exactly endorse it. I just didn't complain. You know, this whole controversy, what's going on in Syracuse. The number 44 is legendary in that program. Floyd Little, the great Floyd Little Ward, Ernie Davis Ward, and Jim Brown Ward. So they retired the number, and the way the story goes is they're trying to get some high-profile recruit to come to Syracuse, and they kind of promise this guy, or they want the ability to offer, high-profile recruits the opportunity to wear number 44. First of all, these young kids don't know who the hell Ernie Davis and Jim Brown are, so I don't understand why it would be that much of an honor, because they don't know who these guys are. These guys played 40, 50, 60 years ago, damn near. So it was very interesting. Donovan McNabb showed his disapproval or made his disapproval of that story evident when it first hit the news waves. And so Jim Brown was saying, they didn't mention anything to me. I just didn't complain once they announced that they did. So really what they're doing at Syracuse is lying. So I kind of get the feeling that Jim Brown, it doesn't really matter one way or the other to him. Jim Brown's all involved in the community. He probably couldn't give a rat's ass about it, to be honest with you. But that's bootleg. That's bootleg by Syracuse. One little interesting thing about Syracuse, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, I actually got my first recruiting letter, and I'll remember it like it was yesterday. I got my first recruiting letter, or one of the first recruiting letters. I believe it was the first recruiting letter from Syracuse. And at that time, Syracuse was like a good program. Who they have? McPherson was the quarterback during the late 80s. Can't remember his first name. I think it might have been Don McPherson. But fantastic program during that time. But Syracuse has fallen on hard times in the last 20-something years, man. They absolutely suck. I guess they were pretty decent when Donovan McNabb was there, but that's about it. This is the Doug Stewart Show from Lamont Hart. Bruce hung around them damn Kardashians too long, so he had to think of something to get a shine, and that ninja's Kanye's next. Man, you know what? Tree told me this, and she argued this profusely, that this was a publicity stunt. And I didn't believe it. I didn't think anybody would go to the lengths of turning into a girl as for a publicity stunt to promote a TV show. But now you see what's going on with this reality show he's got. He's on the cover of magazines. Once again, as I said Monday, that whole scenario seems like a very personal matter. And him going all out publicity, covers of magazines once again, TV shows, very, very suspect, man. From Grego, I think Michael Sam thought he would get a big payday for coming out, but it backfired. Ha ha. From the 47 problem, I guess it takes courage to voluntarily cut off your... Okay, here we go. This is the listeners now. For the record, this is the listeners. I guess it takes courage to voluntarily cut off your man parts, or maybe it's just insane, one or the other. Yeah, like I said Monday, man, I like being a dude. I mean, it has a lot of great benefits to it, man. I almost think that... No, I'm not going to go there. Star-Lord, Bruce is now a lesbian since he claims he's not gay. But if you're a woman and you're still like woman, doesn't that make you gay? Doesn't that make you gay? You make some valid points here, Star-Lord. You do. From Lamont Hart, supposedly all Bruce Jenner's kids are supposed to be on stage with him. I'd have to tell my dad I'm busy that day or I can't get off of work, but I guess they're trying to get some shine also. I don't know why they just don't crank out a few more sex tapes and make that the family business. Yeah, man, very interesting story to say the least about the great Bruce / Caitlyn Jenner. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. You remember those little monksters on, and I did say monksters. You remember those little monsters on Sesame Street? Yep. Hey, man, thank you for joining me today on the Doug Stewart Show. I really, really, really do appreciate it. You can still donate to the show. You can donate to the show anytime, man. Tip your waiter. TheDougStewartShow.com, $20 or more. We send you a T-shirt. Yes. I mean, it's a fantastic T-shirt, too. Thank you very much. Shouts out to the Tree of Life. Not here today, but shouts out to her for all of her hard work. Waterhead Walter, who took Tree's place today in earnest, all of her duties. Thank you, Waterhead. I appreciate it. Dwayne Vassan, Gerald Oliveri, my engineers, the guys that make this show happen. Shouts out to those guys. I really do appreciate it. And a big shouts out to all of the Stewies, man. Without you, there would be no me. I appreciate it. I nub new. Be careful this weekend on them streets. We'll do it again Monday, same Doug Stewart time, same Doug Stewart channel. Peace.